Hello folks, the Celtic Nerd here bringing you another nerdy video. I am This is going to be a brief little review of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I have dropped about 12 hours into the game at this point. 6 hours on my previous playthrough, and then another six when I realized the audio on that playthrough did not record properly. There is no audio for the game this time because I don't want to be distracted by any extra dialogue. I'm going to be just wandering around, discovering these like question marks and the eagle. Okay, no, they're all outside now the territory. But yeah, no, I just want to focus on getting certain things done while I talk about the games. So I want to get trying to just focus on. I'm going to talk about the positives first. There are negatives, folks. I'm not. I'm not going to just bullshit and say that the game is perfect. No, no, no. So positives. Voice acting is pretty good for a lot of the named characters. And when I mean named, there are going to be like merchants that you may encounter along the road that are just called like man or whatever. Like, yeah, I found the voice acting for them a bit of hit and miss, but again, for Naue, for Nagato, her father, for Matsu, her aunt, all those like named characters. Oh, Janjiro. Oh, I love Janjiro. He's a great character. But anyway, bamboo getting in the way. So voice acting pretty good. I can't say much about Yosuke because we had very limited playtime with him. So I'm hoping this weekend to record some footage of me progressing the story, and then eventually, hopefully by this weekend, I'll unlock the ability to switch back and forth between Yosuke and Naue. So, one thing I want to say is this game is absolutely visually stunning. Now I'm playing on the Xbox Series X, folks, and I'm sure there's some PC Master Race people out there who would be like, "Oh, it would look so much better on PC." Of course, it would, especially if you have a high-end PC with an Ultra HD monitor. I don't, but again, I still think the game looks absolutely stunning. The music for the game is absolutely like fantastic. There's a brilliant cutscene where the Iga clan fights off against the Oda clan. They ambush them, and there's just an absolutely amazing song that plays during that cutscene, and it's fantastic. There's another great moment with the introduction to the villains of the game. That was brilliant. The music, this like the score, the cinematography of like whoever animated, all that, they did a fantastic job, and I really hope they got the praise that they deserve for that. I don't know what this is. Keys. Okay. Um. What else? In terms of the story, what can I say? So far, the story is your stereotypical Assassin's Creed story, folks. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Every Assassin's Creed game, in some shape or form, follows this formula. And it's not a bad formula. It's sounding true. There's a reason why, and again, it's not even Assassin's Creed that always use it. Like other, it's a classic story that is in every single game, and that is the quest for vengeance. It's just the way things are. And again, they tend to be very good stories. I'm not gonna rip on that story arc because again, like the vengeance quest line, sorry, the vengeance quests has led me to some of my favorite video games, favorite books, and favorite movies, such as John Wick in terms of the movies, Aragon in terms of books, Like, like there's a reason why people gravitate to those stories. I don't I'm not I don't know psychiatry. I'm not going to explain why people gravitate to these stories. And in terms of video games, there's a good old classic, Assassin's Creed. Like almost every Assassin's Creed game has been in some line been associated with vengeance. Now, Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood definitely are the biggest examples of the vengeance story. Then you have Assassin's Creed 3. You have Odyssey, Origin. What else is there? Oh, Unity was a quest for vengeance as well. So, I think the only Assassin's Creed games that did not have anything to do with vengeance was Black Flag, Revelations, the very first Assassin's Creed game, Valhalla, I can't say anything about Mirage. Oh, Syndicate. Syndicate wasn't a vengeance story. So, yeah, there's a lot of vengeance stories throughout Assassin's Creed. And now, in some cases, they do, like, there is always generally some element of vengeance or tragedy within those games. Like, Kenway swears vengeance on Roberts, the Sage, because, he betrayed him and left him fucking stranded. And I believe he set off the chain of events that did eventually lead to. No, he didn't cause the death of Blackbeard. So yeah, no, I don't think we can put Blackbeard's death or the death of Edward's friends on Robert's betrayal. But eventually, vengeance. There's always some element of vengeance that's introduced in those games. I don't think with Syndicate though. Syndicate generally lacks any level of vengeance. Like, nothing really ever personally happens to the Friar twins in London. I don't think. Yeah, no. The closest thing is the Jack the Ripper DLC, but I'm not going to count that. But yeah, so there you go. Like vengeance goes hand in hand with Assassin's Creed. And again, it's a pretty decent motivator. And again, all Assassin's Creed protagonists have to have some level of tragedy to them to go on the hero's journey. With partially the exception of the Friar twins, but I guess their tragedy sort of happened off screen before the events of the game, when their parents are dead. So yeah, so fantastic story so far with Naue. Again, I don't understand Yosuke's story because again I have very little interactions with him. So Naue's story is pretty much your standard vengeance. Her whole village was wiped out by the Oda clan, and then so she wants vengeance on him, obviously. But then there's this what are they called? Give me a sec, folks. I need to open up the objectives menu to get their name. It's a cool name. I like it. The Onryo. Again, I apologize to any people who can speak Japanese. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. But yeah, no. So far, they're my favorite iteration of the enemies of the assassins. Like the Cult of Deimos, the Order of Ancients. We have those guys. And so far this is my favorite iteration, and it's sort of because of their not gonna lie, it has to do with their intro so far. I absolutely loved their intro. They all wear these cool masks, and they all have they seem to me to have very unique personalities. They're all wielding different weapons and such like that, and again they just scream uniqueness to each other. Whereas past iterations didn't really have that. Let's see what else can I say. Some small details that I wanted to talk about, folks, and I didn't talk about them during my stream or during any of my videos that I recorded. I love the weather system in this game. I know it sounds like a stupid thing to talk about, but it is. I actually really liked it. For example, when I was trying to showcase a certain scene in the stream, I was talking to an NPC, and before the NPC, before I initially started that cutscene, I was hearing thunder off in the distance. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm hearing thunder. I wonder whereabouts on the map there's a storm." But then eventually, some light rain. Then the cutscene started, there was some light rain when my character opened the door to see the monk and Jinjiro standing there. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool." And then, as the cutscene, now the camera is bouncing between me and him and one other NPC as we're talking, and each time it's on the monk, I'm noticing the rain's getting heavier and heavier. And then eventually, when the cutscene is over, it's a full blown storm. There's thunder, there's lightning, the rain is just coming down hard, not in straight lines like you would see in other Assassin's Creed games, or even at the angled drops, which are just plastered. Like, it will just be angled constantly. No, the rain seems to shift whenever the wind picks up, and I absolutely loved that detail. And then I noticed the detail on the roof of the hideout. There was just some fantastic attentions to detail. Now, I heard that during the winter months, when you're snow, if you pay close attention, the snow supposedly melts organically off your character. I've not really noticed that. If it is true, then that is fantastic, and I hope to see it at some point. We're not going to bother fighting these guys just yet. I just want to get this bit done. There we go. Aha, you guys can't stop me now. But yeah, there's just elements to this. There's just some nice attention to detail for this game, folks, and I absolutely love it. Oh shit! I must be I must be hidden for this to work. So okay, I'm just gonna have to hide until I can get to the top of it. So yeah, what else can I say positively about the game? I talked about how I enjoyed the voice acting, the performance of the actress who plays Naue. I talked about how I'm enjoying the good old classic vengeance story. The combat, I talked about that already. Yeah, folks, there's just not much else I can say. Again, I would love to comment more on. I would love to praise Yosuke's actor, or at least his part of the story. But again, I didn't have much playtime as him yet. I will say it's pretty typical that they would lock us out of switching to him for a while. Given the fact that he technically is a member of the bad guys, or at least one of our antagonists. So as such, they don't want us. They want to really hard in on how bad what's his name Oda is, and when I say Oda, I don't mean the Oda of One Piece, because he's an absolute saint and a brilliant writer. But now, other than that, yeah, there's not much more positiveness I can say. I would like to praise the RPG elements, but so far all I can really notice from the dialogue options is how should I put this? Why am I in the level 20 area? I thought this. Oh, I'm cutting through it. That's why. Um, but yeah, as I was saying, there's the whole. Because I'm. It's probably because I'm early on in the game, folks. But it does not feel like my dialogue options have much meaning. Like it feels like so far all dialogue options is really just us determining the overall personality of our of the two characters, and it has less to do with how the story is going to interpret our decisions. So yeah, if you're looking for an RPG that it's not like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Like in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, if we make a decision, it can have an impact on the overall story. But I'm not getting that vibes with this. Again, it feels like it's more determined personality. Like with Naue, are you the cold blooded person on like heroine on a quest for vengeance, or like are you a kind hearted person, like that type of stuff. Now, with me so far, I'm picking. It's more the former that I'm going with the exception of Jinjiro. I tend to pick the more soft-hearted options with him, and that's just because like that little character has done a lot for Naue, and I feel like I'm gonna play soft-hearted to him because like when you like he looked after you when you were unconscious, he cheered you on as you were trying to get better, and he then helped repair your musical instrument. I don't know what the name of the instrument is. It's just a like pot that has holes in it. It's not a flute. It doesn't look like a flute. Again, it might actually be just called a flute, and it's just made differently. But I don't know. He repairs it, and yeah, he just seems to be your number one fan sort of type thing, and like, yeah, I can't be mean to this kid. So yeah, which is one of the reasons why I think I loved. I feel like I might be biased about when I praise his voice actor, but other than that, I don't know if it impacts the story. Like if any of my decisions are going to impact the story in any way. Okay, couldn't assassinate him. Probably because the thing was in the way. And there's a big guy. So, as you can see there, like, again, an example of the difference between Aoi and Yosuke is Naue cannot take a hit. Like just look at that. Oh. Oh. Yeah, she really relies on the light attacks to get just quickly chip into that health before they respond. But yeah, no, that's all the positives I really have for the game so far, folks. And again, a slight negative with the, as I said, the not no clarity on decision impacting the story, which is not a bad thing. I'm not going to say it's a failed RPG because of it. There's plenty of RPGs where they don't even let you have dialogue options. I will say, I hope the dialogue options do allow us to make some decisions, because otherwise it's going to feel like what's the point of giving these options if they don't matter? I heard that you get to choose the love interests for Naue and Yosuke. So that's going to be interesting if that turns out to be true. Like, I wonder what potential love interests they have. But I did hear that the love interests are purely optional. So we'll see. I hope I don't, overlook them. Knowing me, I probably will end up overlooking them. Because like if there's not, it's not like a Bioware game where they have like obvious like flirt next to the thing. There was a symbol at one point that had, when I was interacting with someone, it came up as like scales, and I have no idea what those scales mean. There's no real explanation, basically, is what I'm saying. In terms of that, that's all the eagle points. At least on this region. Let's get into some of the other Let's get into the negatives, folks. And again, I really don't want to, but I have to be honest. As I said, okay. So some of the negatives. There's a there's a joke to be made about, of course, there's a bug, and because I know a lot of people would joke about like, oh, it's Ubisoft, so of course there's going to be a bug. Yes and no. I've had pretty much decent experiences with the Assassin's Creed games, encountering very little bugs, despite how often people say like how often they're riddled with bugs. So again, maybe I just got lucky in the past, but I've only really encountered 3 bugs, and that is with the remakes. Oh, we're changing seasons. And that is with the remake of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I went to do an air assassination, and my character sort of bounced and started flying up into the air. The second major bug I've encountered was when I was playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the Xbox Series X. Now, when I played Assassin's Creed Syndicate like on the Xbox One, this bug never happened. It never did. It was just perfect. Now that we got that seasonal alert, I'm going to check out this location. The Welt. No, okay, the Welt is still coming up as low, but I know that for a fact that the resources do spawn back. But yeah, so there's that. Now again, now that the season, now I'm going to be talking about a certain bug, which is just so happenstance that I'm in the hideout for this. We're going to upgrade this. There we go. I really want to get this upgrade because this allows us to upgrade more fast travel points throughout the regions, and it will just be fantastic. But as you can see, we're barely short on the minerals, the crops, and the wood. So it's mostly wood that I need for it. But anyway, I'm hoping they fix this bug because it has been a thorn in my side since it's happened. And it's been ongoing for several hours now at this point, folks. So I'm going to show you the bug now. Hopefully it's not there. Hopefully it has been... It's gone now. But let's see. Yes, it's gone. It is fully gone. And that is exactly the amount of resources I need. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. I was just... Oh my god. The bug was eliminate enemies at a camp. And I eliminated all but one of the enemies, but there was no more enemies. And they just never spawned in. And it was several seasons would go by and nothing would change. So yeah, it was just completely awful. Remove markers. So we have to steal them from here. Okay, easy enough. Well, seems easy enough. So that plagued me for a while, but it looks like, I don't know if it's because I upgraded the building or if it's because I changed seasons after X amount of times. But yeah, for the longest time there was just no enemies there, and it made I could not complete the quest. So, okay, I guess I'll take that back. I already talked about the negativities of how I don't feel like the dialogue options matter, but again, that could be more due to the how early I am in the actual story. Um, like I said, I wish there was a bit more clarity on on speaking of dialogue. I wish there was a bit more clarity on dialogue, because again, I had a dialogue option at one point where they had like a symbol on it, but they did not make it clear what the symbol meant. I can only assume it meant I'm lying, but why are scales representing lying? I don't know. I would say the lack of ability to turn off enemy scaling. There's another bug that I've been played with a couple of times, where enemies will just keep fucking spawning. You would have to just keep on assassinating a target over and over again. So yeah, there you go. That's another bug that's been plaguing me a little bit. But again, early days. These can all be patched out. You know, like in all fairness, the things that I'm going to be talking about, folks, a good bit of it can be patched out. Now, technically, some of these features should not have been in the game. Like I said, locking, scaling up your assassination damage behind, like the knowledge progression, pretty weird. It would have been nice if they gave us some way of scaling up our assassination damage to go inside with the enemies, but oh well. Uh, there's there's really nothing left. Okay, the guarantee. I think that was because of the guaranteed assassinations. That is not supposed to happen. I don't want that to happen. This is a bit that I actually we're going to go back to praising Assassin's Creed. We're going to go back to the praises. I really like it how you're not guaranteed to actually successfully assassinate a target. Don't respawn the enemies. Don't respawn the enemies. Now, what I mean by that, folks, I don't mean as in like insta kills. There's a reason why I turned it on, because some of the enemies that were starting to spawn in, I couldn't kill, and I got trapped in this sort of loop because I can't level up my thing without leaving the first region. But then there's depending on the situation, you may not be able to successfully assassinate certain enemies. They will catch your hand, and I really enjoyed that. It makes you think a bit more carefully as you approach a target. And now that we have Fast Travel denied us right now. But yeah, again, a lot of the negatives, folks, is just stuff that can be either patched later, or I feel like enemy scaling should be an option to turn on and off. I feel like maybe they should have given us a piece of equipment that we can level up or scale to increase our assassination damage, so that way we're not reliant on going to these like special shrines. And because so far there's two things you need to really do in order to level up your character, like level up your abilities. And that's the thing. Yellow assassination doesn't mean you'll succeed. There's a chance you'll fail. Red is you're going to get caught if you attempt to assassinate. Yellow means that you could get caught. And then green is obviously like, oh yeah, I know, you're going to hit this guy. But, yeah, there's not a lot of negativities I can really say. The trail, I will say, actually, okay, here's a negativity, folks. Here's a negative thing, because I do want to call out some stuff. I really think that the way they promoted this game so far, because again, folks, I went through I don't know how early or how late you get to play as Yosuke, but from I feel like maybe it's a bit too. I hope it's not too late in the game. Now, again, folks, I'm very early on. I have yet to assassinate my one target of the antagonists. You know, so okay, maybe I'm being a bit unfair on the promotion team and all that, but it just seems a little weird for me. And if I'm being honest, there's a small nitpicky thing that does bother me about Naue, and it's the way she fights. If they changed her stand, like, and funny enough, folks, and again, this is me being very, very nitpicky. Okay, I am not a fan of how in movies and video games they do this. Okay, now it's again, this is not an Ubisoft exclusive thing. It's not an exclusive thing to Assassin's Creed Shadows. This is a thing that all forms of media seem to have a fascination with, and I'm just not a fan of it. Okay, I'm not a fan of it. The way they portray reverse grip. Like, there are moments where you should hold the reverse grip like this in a combat stance, where the blade is behind you, but that should not be the default stance. The default stance should have your dominant handlers, in this case the right arm. The right arm should be up after you draw your blade. Also, first off, you wouldn't, if you're going to go reverse grip, you wouldn't reverse grip while keeping your scabbard there. No, you wouldn't. You would put the scabbard towards your waist on the back. It'll be a bit more comfortable draw, and also you're wasting time having to draw it and then flick your wrists and move the blade into the right position. You're wasting time. So no, you would want it to be in a situation where you can draw it into reverse grip. But anyway, that aside, you would want your right arm to be up across so that your hand is at your left shoulder, so that the blade is in front of you. You want to keep the blade in front so that way you have some ability to parry any kind of attack that is coming towards you. You would not be in this whole... Now, if you're relaxed and walking, yeah, you can walk like this. And you can run like that, that's fine. But if you're in actual combat, if you're doing reverse grip, you keep the blade in front of you, or you just don't be in reverse grip. Reverse grip there's some strengths to reverse grip, but you are drastically lowering your reach. Like, you're just drastically lowering your reach. You don't want that. You want to be in his especially with Katana, you want to be in his combat stance, the Ronin that we're fighting. Okay, he devastated us with that attack. But yeah, like, the way Now fights just bothers me. Like, her default stance. Like, again, I don't mind her being a reverse grip fighter. Overall, that's not what bothers me. It's just her default sort of stance with it. Like, again, no problem. And again, she does switch to normal forward grip in her combos, so that's fine. It's just her default stance is what bothers me. And again, that's just me nitpicky. Again, this is not my final review, folks. This is just my opening review of the game so far. Because, again, I'm only 6 hours, like, realistically, I'm only 6 hours in, and most of that is me doing side stuff. It's not me playing the main story. And that's a good thing. And I want to point out, folks, that is a good thing. If you're having fun playing, like, not even playing the story, that's good. Games should be fun, And that's the whole point. Games are meant to be fun. And I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying... I've been waiting for a Feudal Japan Assassin's Creed game ever since the end of Assassin's Creed 2. like when I really got into this like whole franchise, when I believe like, oh my god, this is a franchise now. Because I pre-ordered Assassin's Creed, I pre-ordered Assassin's Creed 2, I pre-ordered Assassin's Creed 3. Okay, I did not pre-order every Assassin's Creed game, but I always bought them around their launch date. The only one I have not bought on launch has been Assassin's Creed Mirage. And but like, so I'm in a long time Assassin's Creed fan, folks. There's only one other Assassin's Creed game that I like setting that I'm dying for, and that is an Assassin's Creed that is set during a world war, World War I or World War II. Doesn't really matter. Oh, you know what would be fun, folks? An Assassin's Creed set in the Wild West. That sounds like fun to me. You know, that to me that sounds like fun. But anyway, I had a friend who suggested they would like to see an Assassin's Creed set around the 1916 Rising in Ireland. That's that might be a bit. That could start arguments and can possibly be boycotted. I can imagine a few people not being happy. It's a very sensitive subject. But no, like we finally got a feudal Assassin's Creed game. I am absolutely loving it. I'm enjoying playing as a shinobi. Is the game perfect? No, but again, I'm only 6 hours in. I will give it a final rating. So far, it's looking good, and I'll give a proper final review later down the line when I'm like further in. Now I'm going to keep doing my busy work stuff like leveling up the hideout and all that stuff off screen. And again, tomorrow I'm going to be recording some Assassin's Creed Assassin's Creed Origins, some Dragon Age, and I'll record some Shadows as well for next week. This video will go up on a Saturday, because at the time of this recording, it's Friday night, and oh shit, I am late for a D&D game. So yeah, folks, I'm the Celtic Nerd, saying now, one name, one sky.